Hello kids, today I am going to tell you about the story of the graveyard at the midnight from the adventures of the Tom Sawyer. It's a horror story and you will get scared. This is the picture of a graveyard. You can see the bats are flying, devils are also there, they are moving and you can see snakes. The hand of the dead body is coming out from the graveyard, so you can see the fingers are also moving. There is a spider on the wall, and there is also lightning, so it's very horror, so you will get scared. Ask your parents to sit with you, otherwise you will get scared. Hoo, hoo, ha, ho, 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 ho. So the chapter number 3, the graveyard at the midnight, from Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Hoo, hoo, ha, ho, ho. So these are the some pictures of the story, what happened in this story. So we are going to start the story. At 9:30 that night, Tom and Sid were sent to bed as usual. They said their prayers and Sid was soon asleep. But what happened? Tom couldn't fall asleep. He kept hearing scary noises of loud meowing, voices of the neighbors, clear off, you devil, and he was too much disturbed, and there were dreams coming to him. So he kept hearing scary noises that kept him up. So, what happened after that? So, that night, Tom sneaks out of the bed. He was unable to sleep. So, he went out from the home. Huckleberry Finn was there with his dead cat. So, what was happened after that? So, the boys moved off. Who were the boys? There were two boys, Huckleberry Finn and the Tom Sawyer with his dead cat. The boys moved off and vanished in the darkness. So that night, Tom goes to the graveyard with Huckleberry Finn to cure watch with the dead cat. So, after that, what happened? They hid in a clump of elms. They hide in a clump of elms trees, a few feet from the fresh cave of Hose Williams, and wait for the devils to appear. But what happened after that? Tom feared it might be the spirits of the dead complaining at being disturbed. So, after a while, the three figures approached the grave, and Tom and Huckleberry becomes scared. What is it, Tom? And the two clung together with beating hearts. Shush! There it is again. Didn't hear you it? I can hear. There now you hear it. Lordy Tom, they are coming. They are coming sure. What will we do? I don't know. Think they will see us. There were Tom and Huckleberry were talking to each other, and there were listening some voices. Oh, Tom, they can see in the dark, same as cat. I wish I hadn't come. Oh, don't be afraid. If we keep perfectly still, perhaps they won't notice us at all. I will try to, Tom, but I am all of a shiver. Listen. The boys bent their heads together and hardly breathed. A faint sound of voices floated up from the far end of the graveyard. Look, see there, whispered Tom. What is it? Some vague figure approached through the darkness, swinging an old fashioned tin lantern that spotted the ground with little circles of light. Huck whispered with a shiver. It's the devils, sure enough. Three of them, Lordy Tom, we are dead men. Can you pray, Tom? Huckleberry said these words to the Tom. I will try, but don't you be afraid. They are not going to. Shh. What is it, Huck? They are humans. One of them is anyway one of them's old Muff Potter's voice. So it is, and I know another of those voices. It's Injun Joe. You are right. That murdering half breed. I would rather have devils, Tom. What can they be up to? The whispers died away now, for the three men had reached the grave and stood within a few feet of the boy's hiding place. So the boys believe with horrified delight that these are the devils, but they turn out to be three adults from the town carrying out a midnight mission of their own. So what happened? What happened? What was happened? Tom and Huck are surprised to discover the young Dr. Robinson, accompanied by two local outcasts. Tom and Huck are surprised to discover the young Dr. Robinson, accompanied by two local outcasts, the drunken Muff Porter and Injun Joe. Dr. Robinson orders the other two men to dig up Horace Williams' corpse, presumably for use in medical experiments. So they started to dig the grave. Why they were digging the grave? They were trying to put out the dead body of Horace Williams. So what happened after that? After they finish the job, Porter demands extra payment and Robinson refuses. Dr. Robinson refuses to give extra payment to Muff Porter. So what happened after that? Injun Joe then reminds Dr. Robinson of an incident that happened 5 years earlier when Injun Joe came begging at the Robinsons' kitchen door and was turned away. Actually, Injun Joe was begging something from Dr. Robinson, but Dr. Robinson didn't help him 5 years before. So Injun Joe wants to take revenge from the Dr. Robinson. So what happened? So the fight started. Injun Joe now intends to have his revenge. So a fight ensues. Dr. Robinson knocks Injun Joe down and then is attacked by Muff Potter. So what happened after that? He uses Horace Williams' headstone to defend himself, knocking Potter unconscious. Knocking Potter unconscious. He uses Horace Williams' headstone to defend himself, knocking Potter conscious. In the scuffle, Injun Joe stabs Dr. Robinson with Potter's knife and he killed Dr. Robinson. Potter was not in his senses because he was drunk. So Injun Joe took advantage of this time and he killed Dr. Robinson and he robbed that body and put Potter's knives in Potter's hand. So what happened after that? Huckleberry and Tom Sawyer ran away. The terrified boys flee without being detected by the man. Eventually, Potter awakens and asks Injun Joe what happened. He was not sure what happened before him. So Muff Potter asked Injun Joe what happened. Who killed Dr. Robinson? Because the knife, blooded knife, was in the hand of Muff Potter. So what happened? Injun Joe tells the drunk Potter that Potter murdered Dr. Robinson in a drunken fury, and Potter still dazed believes him. Injun Joe promises not to tell anyone about the crime and they part ways. So you can see in the picture Muff Potter and Injun Joe are also going out or running out from the graveyard. Before Injun Joe leaves the graveyard, however, he notes smugly that Potter's knife remains stuck in the corpse. Before Injun Joe leaves the ground, however, he notes smugly that Potter's knife remains stuck in the corpse. So, what happened? The story is finished. And now Injun Joe thought that nobody knows about that Injun Joe killed Dr. Robinson, and he blamed Muff Potter for the murder. But nobody knows that Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry knew this fact. So, this is the secret, dreadful secret, which was accompanied by Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry. Thank you so much for listening this story. Hopefully you will like it. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.